Hello, people, race fans all around the world, across the worldwide intrawebs. We're back, Oversteer TV online, the podcast. I'm here, I always get it backwards, my cohort, Jeff Brown.
I'm facing the wrong way too.
You're facing the wrong way. The other way. I'm Tony Castner. Forget the bottom thing there. It says Anthony. I'm Tony. We're back. It's been a boring couple of weeks. There's been no Formula One. NASCAR is at least doing some of the playoffs. IndyCar's over. Um, but Formula One's back. Yay! In Texas. So you got to see a bunch of foreign little Formula One drivers walking around with the big ass cowboy hats and cowboy boots looking totally ridiculous. Because I've been to Texas a few times. Nobody dresses like that. Texas. Um, and already it's been like 3 weeks since they've had F1. Already there's a controversy. Supposedly there's a problem. Somebody might have been cheating, they say, with the level, the bottom, the floor plan, the floor of the Formula One car. After Jeff, as you know, after qualifying, the cars go straight into Parc Fermé. Nobody's allowed to touch them until the race starts the next day. Apparently, some teams, Red Bull, has figured out a way to adjust the right height of the floor. Yeah, in between Parc Fermé and when the race starts, which they shouldn't be allowed to do. And Red Bull says, no, we're not doing it. But FIA says, well, we look at your car. There's a way you can do it. And Red Bull goes, well, we never do it. And so Red Bull decided we're going to take it off in case it bothers you. So it's one of those things where F1 catches somebody cheating and doesn't want to punish them, but just says, don't do that anymore. Take that off. Yeah. They did it back in the day where Ferrari found a way because they have a flow rate for fuel into the engine to keep them from getting too powerful. Ferrari found a way around that, and then Mercedes found a way to change the camber of their front wheels and everything. It's just one of those things. So we're back in Texas. We get to see who is it? Oh God, so many.
It's only cheating if you get caught.
yeah. That's all. So apparently some teams got caught. It wasn't just Red Bull. They say some other teams.
It sounds like Hialeah Speedway.
Yeah. So we can look forward to another
Hialeah Speedway. I never got caught cheating at Hialeah Speedway.
Oh no. I didn't know anybody who didn't cheat at Hialeah Speedway in one way or the other. Well, yeah, the guys way in the back who never won or never got near the front. Those guys didn't cheat.
Well, there was a few times I was running fifth, and the top five cars have to go through post-race inspection, and I would pull over and let that sixth place car pass me. I would finish sixth because the money was the same. You got paid the same amount for fifth or sixth place. And I realized I wasn't going to win the race. So the last lap or two, I would pull over and let that sixth place car, because there's nothing worse than having to pull down a hot race engine at 1 o'clock in the morning in Hialeah, Florida.
Yeah, oh God. No.
I would pull over and finish sixth.
I learned more new cuss words after a night of Hialeah Speedway when somebody accused another and they made them pull and disassemble their motor in the middle of the night. The best is when they said, hey, we want to inspect your car. And they said, just disqualify me. And they just drive away. It's not worth the hassle.
I've had that happen too.
How much you raced in street stock, right?
No, it was Cyclone.
Cyclone. That's right. What was first on a regular Saturday night? What was first prize then?
I think it was like $100. Which didn't even cover your, expenses to race. You had to buy tires and fuel. You had to buy the fuel and the tolls to get up there and everything. So it was basically just, you had to win in order to break even.
And what was the entry fee?
Entry fee was $40, I think, if I remember correctly.
I love those things. I love that short track. I love any kind of that
But you could make that 40 back by finishing in the top 10.
But you're still losing. People those little short tracks. If you've never been to one of those little short tracks, and especially in the South, but they're all across the United States, do yourself a favor, go see them because it's some fun action, and all those guys are doing it just for fun. There's no money in it. There's no major sponsorship.
Racing.
Yeah. If you see a sponsor in a car, it's usually their brother or their father or somebody's
or their own company.
Yeah, their own company, and they just put it there. They have no TV and they do nothing. So yeah, we're F1 Texas. It'll be interesting. You get to see your favorite F1 driver again, Oscar Piastri.
Yeah. I don't think I really have a favorite F1 driver.
I was thinking of you yesterday because I saw a quote he made. They're asking about helping Lando Norris to win the championship. He goes, "Oh, of course I'll help him. Yeah. If it works out." And he literally said, "If it works out for me too."
Yeah. Gee, what a terrible team
And I love Oscar for that, because that's how you become a Formula One champion. You think when Senna and Prost were driving for both from McLaren and they were crashing into each other on purpose, you think one of them said, "Oh, I'm going to help my teammate win the championship"? Hell no. Kind of
the same way in NASCAR.
Yeah,
it's like they don't care.
No. Everybody helps each other. I know, like they say, the Ford guys help the Ford guys, and the Chevy guys and the Toyota guys help the Toyota guys. That may be true up until like 10 laps to go.
Yeah.
Okay, then it's like you're dead to me. You're dead to me.
Self at that point.
Which kind of shocks me because as you reminded me, Kyle Larson won last weekend.
Yeah.
On the Roval, right, at Charlotte, right?
Yeah.
And I'm surprised people aren't taking him out like they used to do in the good old days.
Well, you got to catch him first.
Yeah.
he dominated that race so much that he didn't have very much airtime on TV. Mm-hmm. Because it was, well, first of all, it was an elimination race, to the round of 8. So they were totally focused on that, 8th
right
place spot, which went to the regular season champion, Tyler Reddick, for the Hamlin Jordan 2311 team, which is their only car in the top 8.
Which I'm sure brought much joy to the bosses over at NASCAR.
Well, out of the top 8, 4 of them are Hendrick's cars. All 4 Hendrick cars are in the top 8.
Wow.
And then there's 2 Gibbs cars, 1 Penske, and 1 Michael Jordan 2311 car in that final 8th place, which he still has a good shot of winning it, because I think right now the top 2 drivers are I'll say the top 3 drivers. I'll say Denny Hamlin has a good shot of winning the championship finally. And then, of course, Kyle Larson, I think, is going in as the number 1 seed in the top 8, which I think it's his championship to lose. Mm-hmm. And then there's Tyler Reddick for the Michael Jordan 2311 team. I think he has a legitimate shot to win the championship, but we'll see. I'm sure, like you said, NASCAR would love the team that's suing them to win the championship.
It's funny, you point out that it's Hendrick Motorsport, Gibbs, Penske. It's like all major series out there. It's always the same teams. The more professional teams, the teams with the most money, are going to win. In IndyCar, it's always between a Penske and a Ganassi. Occasionally, you have a Michael Andretti's team, and McLaren's starting to come up there. They got some serious money, but I can't remember the last time it wasn't a Penske or a Ganassi winning the championship in IndyCar. Formula One, it always, you see that all the time. Red Bull's been dominating for years. Eventually they'll slide down, somebody else will come up there, but it's always the teams up in front, the usual suspects. for a while. Like,
Yeah, over the last 20 years, you'd say Red Bull and Mercedes.
Yeah,
pretty much dominated.
And also in even in drag racing, it's always the same guys in front. You always hear the same names. They can be, how many years was John Force, fighting for the title in Funny Car? I mean, he almost had to die to stop him from doing it.
Yeah, now he's got grandchildren out there that he's competing against.
Yeah, and it's just still his team dominating. So how the race in Charlotte, the Roval? What did you think of it?
I thought it was a good race. I've never been a huge fan of the Roval, the Charlotte Roval race, but it was entertaining. They were focused a lot on the last positions, trying to make it into the round of 8, which they should have been. And it was a good race as far as that's concerned, because Tyler Reddick was in the 9th position, and in the last few laps made the passes that he needed to make to get the points and put himself into the round of 8. So that was pretty dramatic. And, of course, they kept focusing on Michael Jordan in the pits. He was sad at first because his driver wasn't there, but then it was funny because Tyler Reddick passed Denny Hamlin to get that 8th position. That was what gave him the points. So he had to pass his car owner. Denny Hamlin finished 7th, so he's in the round of 8. But the next 3 tracks are good tracks for Denny Hamlin, and maybe this will be the year. I've been saying this, that he's the Dan Marino of racing, the best to ever play to not win the championship. And then I thought about it, and I thought, there's another guy in racing that also has that, and that's Mark Martin. Mark Martin was probably the best driver in NASCAR to never win a championship, in my opinion.
I'm kind of glad he never won a championship myself.
Yeah, he was a crap. I mean,
he hated me for some reason. I don't know what it was. I have my theories, but I'm not going to say it. I was looking around the interwebs today, and there's a big story coming out of NASCAR also that there's talk of another street race along the ocean in San Diego.
Okay.
I'm sure some of the old guard, the old farts fans, the ones that still fly Confederate flags on their campers out in the parking lot, they're probably apoplectic about that idea. Another road course race and another street race, if anything. What'd you think of it? The Chicago race, that's not the best track.
I'm not much for those downtown races. They're just too narrow. It's too hard to pass. So it's just a lot of, single file, kind of boring. At least with the Roval, there's, passing opportunities. When you have an actual road course race instead of a street race, you have more opportunities, I believe.
Yeah, I like some street races. It depends on the street. The Chicago race, I know where they're racing there, because Chicago's the 3rd biggest city in the United States, and it's got millions of people as a captive audience right there. And let's face it, people forget racing is a business. Professional racing at least is. I could see that. I haven't seen the idea that I haven't seen any proposal for a track in San Diego. Some tracks can be wide enough, like the old IndyCar track at Belle Isle. I thought that was a good track. That was plenty of room to pass.
But that was more of a road course track. It really wasn't a street per se. Whereas they moved the Detroit race to downtown Detroit, which was not a good race at all.
The Baltimore track, I don't know if you remember that race. They did it for a few years. That was fun. That was a good track, good road course.
And of course, the Miami race on Biscayne Boulevard was always good.
Yeah, that was always a good race. Well, the original one. The later one, The one when they came back, that was like too short, too small. So is this something you're going to see more of in NASCAR? You believe more road courses, more street courses?
I think they are moving in that direction, but I don't think they're going to really drop the traditional tracks. I would like to see them add a second race in Homestead that they could run a road course race because they have a world-class road course there. And it would be good to have a second race in Homestead. I think originally that was their plan. But, the Miami fans, they're just Miami racing fans are Formula One fans. They're not the good old boy, fly the rebel flag, Confederate flag kind of guys out there. They're more of the international, because everybody in Miami is from somewhere else, really, except for you and I. We were born here, but actually I wasn't born here. I was born in Orlando, but close enough.
And I don't hold it against you. Even Homestead, which 20 years ago, you can almost say was still a southern city. Close to Miami, but not anymore. It's changed. Everything's changed. We're all changed. We're all going to get old and die, and nobody cares.
Yeah, I call it Kendall South now. It's Kendall South.
Yeah, pretty much. It's the last place you can build in around here.
Well, they've already done that. I don't think there's much room left. They've already taken all the potato fields, and like you said, they're getting closer and closer to that speedway. Which might limit its life, but who knows?
Every piece of land.
As we get these hybrid cars and electric cars, the noise pollution will start going down, which, that's the real problem with having houses too close to the speedway is the noise.
And people complain. And politicians listen.
I have a neighbor across the street that has a mariachi band playing every Saturday night. So I don't, complaining about the noise in Miami. Come on.
But it's not America if there isn't somebody complaining about something. Another thing you mentioned, Denny Hamlin, never, one of the best to never win a championship, is always a bridesmaid. I was thinking this weekend is also the WRC World Rally Championship. I know you don't follow rally. I do. It's running this event is Central European. It's running 3 different countries, at least Czech, Germany, and then I think Switzerland also. But it's coming down to Thierry Neuville for the Hyundai team. Looks like he's about to lock up the championship, which is interesting because this guy has been racing in the top level for 11 years. In those 11 years, 5 times he's finished second.
Wow.
In the championship. 3 other times he finished third. Okay. He is the very poster child of bridesmaid, never the bride. Okay.
Sounds like me at Hialeah Speedway with I forgot how many times I finished second in the race.
And this guy, we got 2 rallies left, this one and another one in Japan. And he's got all but locked up, but already they held the first stage. It's like they usually do like on Thursday, they do 1 stage by itself, then they run those stages Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And he's already damaged his car on the first stage. So it's like, Jesus, dude. Still, I think he's going to win the championship. But Jesus, can you imagine fighting for the championship of your sport, whatever sport it is, and you come in second 5 times? I mean, that's like the Buffalo Bills of rally.
Denny Hamlin. His best shot, Denny Hamlin's best shot was in Homestead. The night I met Michael Jordan, he was in the lead when the caution came out with a handful of laps. He stayed out. Everybody behind him went in and got tires. So he was a sitting duck at that point.
Oh man, poor guy. He's like one of those guys. When I hear Denny Hamlin, you say he never won a championship, and I go, "You sure?" I could have sworn he won a championship.
No,
because he wins so many races. His name's there's never a race where he isn't part of what's going on, where he's near the front, but he's never won a championship. Wow. Wow. He needs to win a championship so he can upgrade that jet, right?
what's that?
He needs to win a championship soon so he can upgrade that jet. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably only flying a G4, and that's kind of embarrassing when all the other guys,
Well, since he's suing NASCAR, he may find some penalties, maybe a pit road speeding penalty, or he'll find something.
I don't think that'll happen, but
he has a problem with speeding on pit road. He's had several
really,
speeding penalties. Yeah.
That's one of those things. Like when I see it, it's like in football when somebody's offsides on the offense. I'm like, you have a number on your gauge. Put the needle on that number, and you're going to be fine. People who speed and oh man. Yeah, but hey, it's people have lost races because of that. So,
Yeah.
What else is going on? Oh, the Formula E schedule is officially out for this coming season.
Okay.
Get ready, Miami, April 12th.
All right.
I already
doing downtown again?
No, I think it's in Homestead.
Ah.
Yeah, they've kind of like dropped doing a lot of the downtown races because it's probably costing them too much money and too much of a hassle to try to find events. So it looks like they're going to do it at Homestead.
Okay.
Which should be fun.
Yeah.
I already
get credentials for that one.
I already shot off some credentials to the FIA for that.
All right.
Even though we're probably end up getting them through Homestead. So
yeah.
All right. I can't wait for this weekend to be over so we can have something to talk about next week.
Yeah, next weekend is Homestead.
Yeah. When is
Las Vegas Lost Wages this weekend?
Las Vegas. That's always a fun race for NASCAR.
And then Homestead.
Yeah, and Formula One is in Texas. Yahoo! So we'll have plenty to talk about next week. All right.
Yeah.
So, guys who are fans listening to us, please hit that like button. What's your problem? Just click. Hit the share. Give us a comment. We'll see you next week. As my wife walks in.
Yeah, there's my wife's feet over here on the couch.
You can I know some people pay good money for those.
I'm charging.
OnlyFans, Chef Brown. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Say goodbye, Jeff.
Yeah, goodbye, Jeff.